DJI says no to war drones, your news update, and we plan Wells World on this edition of State of the Bands Weekend, starting right now. Hello and welcome to Arbitrage, State of the Bands Weekend for April 30th, 2022. I'm Joshua Stark. Drone company DJI Technology has temporarily suspended business activities in Russia and Ukraine to prevent use of its drones in combat in a rare case of a Chinese company pulling out of Russia because of the war. DJI is internally reassessing compliance requirements in various jurisdictions. Pending the current review, DJI will temporarily suspend all business activities in Russia and Ukraine, the company said in a statement released Tuesday. Many Western brands and companies have withdrawn from the Russian market due to Moscow's invasion of Ukraine, but Chinese firms have kept operating there. Beijing has refrained from publicly criticizing Russia over the war. A hands-off approach to moderating content on Elon Musk's Twitter, well, that's weird to say, could clash with ambitious new laws in Europe meant to protect users from disinformation, hate speech, and other harmful material. Musk, who describes himself as a free speech absolutist, pledged to buy Twitter for $44 billion this week, with European Union officials and digital campaigners quick to say that any focus on free speech to the detriment of online safety would not fly after the 27-nation bloc solidified its status as a global leader in the effort to rein in the power of tech giants. If his approach will be just stop moderating it, he will likely find himself in a lot of legal trouble in the EU, said Jan Penfrat, senior policy advisor at digital rights group EDRI. Video meetings dampen brainstorming because we are so hyper-focused on the face in that box that we can't let our eyes and minds wander as much, a new study found. Staring isn't good for creativity. While it's rude to stare at someone in real life, it's expected when on a video call, researchers said. When it comes to evaluating these new ideas, though, that focus, at least in one-on-one chats, seems to make remote meetings slightly better than in-person chats, Wednesday's study in the journal Nature said. Researchers watched 745 pairs of engineers in 5 different countries try to come up with creative ideas for using a frisbee or bubble wrap. Those in the same room generated on average one more idea, which is about 17% more than those in remote meetings, and those in-person ideas were judged by outside experts to be more creative, the study found. A Florida man was sentenced Tuesday to 2 years in federal prison for using his twin brother's stolen identity to obtain tens of thousands of dollars in military veterans benefits. Wayne Bowen, 64, was sentenced in Jacksonville federal court, according to court records. He pleaded guilty in January to aggravated identity theft. He must also pay $63,773 in restitution. According to a plea argument, Bowen used the name, social security card, and military discharge papers of his estranged twin brother in 2014 to apply for federally subsidized housing benefits intended for indigent military veterans. The program was administered by the U.S. Department of Veterans Affairs and the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development. News and more on Arbitrage State of the Bands Weekend next.
It's Thursday night, and you're grabbing drinks with some friends. Started off with a pitcher for the table, which quickly becomes 2. There's pool. And there's the photo booth.
All right, everybody squeeze in. Say cheese!
Followed naturally by an order of wings. And another.
Can we get some extra ranch sauce?
Then there's the ceremonial nightcap.
So what are we doing this weekend?
And lastly, it's back to the car, which, if you're buzzed, could be the most expensive night of your life. Getting pulled over for buzz driving could cost you around $10,000 in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates. Nothing kills a buzz like getting pulled over for buzz driving, because buzz driving is drunk driving. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
This week's State of the Bands blog includes Kit Kat's The Cat's Meow, our weekly Twitter owner tracker, yeah, that's right, and Royce and I buy some land in Florida under various shell corporations. Wells World, anybody? All this and more in this week's State of the Bands blog, available now at arbitragetrade.com. Now let's go to the president and CEO of Arbitrage, Mr. Royce Wells, for more. Royce,
give me a break.
You been to Japan?
No, not recently.
Not recently, but have you been?
Yes.
Cool. Did you get any Kit Kats while you were there?
No, actually, I was not looking for Kit Kats while I was there.
So, all right. So here's the deal, right? We know Japan as the land of weird stuff sometimes. You know, that they have weird foods. They have interesting hobbies and things like that.
Yeah, their culture is quite diverse.
Actually, it is. Very cool. So, in 1973, their culture changed for the better forever.
Okay, what happened in 1973?
Kit Kats came over.
Break me off a piece of that Kit Kat bar.
Not a sponsor.
Not a sponsor, but they're still good. That's my daughter's favorite candy.
Absolutely. It's kind of mine, too. But the reason why Kit Kat is so popular in Japan, it turns out that it's kind of a mistake. Not necessarily a mistake. It's a mistake in the translation. So what we call a false cognate. False cognate means basically it's a pair of words or phrases that sound familiar, sound similar, but they have a completely different meaning. For example, the Spanish embaraza, there we go, embarazada.
You would think it means embarrassed, but does it?
No, it actually means pregnant.
Whoa, that's definitely embarrassing.
Yeah, so one means pregnant, the other means to feel uneasy or self-conscious. Well, it happened in Japan. Kirokatsu is a false cognate in Japan, and it translates to "you will surely win." I am sure. Katsu is also a cutlet.
All right.
So there's a few things going on there.
Give me some cutlet.
Give me some cutlet. But Katsudan. There you go.
Katsudan.
But the popularity of this has blown up, and there are more than 200 seasonal and regional flavors of Kit Kat in Japan.
I like this.
Green
Taste the rainbow.
Green tea, sake.
I've actually had green tea Kit Kat, but surprisingly enough, at Easter.
That's weird.
I know, right?
But we have seen 200 varieties in Japan. That's pretty neat. In 2005, there was a Lucky Charm advertising campaign in Japan, and blew up. It's amazing. And by the way, there are a lot of health benefits to chocolate, aren't there?
Yeah, keeps you calm. Why do you think women love chocolate? Mood changing. Everyone loves chocolate, but yeah, I definitely love chocolate. Women love chocolate. It's the caffeine. It's the benefit. It's been scientifically proven to help with your skin.
Now wait a second.
What?
It doesn't help with your skin. It can cause breakouts.
Hey, it depends on if you have dry skin or not. If you don't, then yes, you could get breakouts.
More after this on Arbitrage State of the Bands Weekend. We're gonna get some American cups as they're called in the Netherlands.
Hi, we're the Goo Goo Dolls. We're fortunate that we can give our daughters everything they need to grow and learn. But not every child can focus on classes and play dates.
Nearly 13 million kids in the U.S. face hunger. That's 1 in 6. School lunch might be their only meal each day, and it's heartbreaking to imagine any child going to bed hungry. We're dreaming of a perfect day when kids can smile, play, and just be kids without worrying about where their next meal will come from. Feeding America is working to make that perfect day a reality.
Each year, the Feeding America network of food banks rescues billions of pounds of good food that would have gone to waste. That food is given to families and children in need. Being a kid should be about doing things that make an ordinary day extraordinary. Learning to play an instrument, building a sandcastle, hosting tea parties. Hunger should never be an obstacle to growing up.
You can help end childhood hunger in your community by visiting feedingamerica.org.
Brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
Well, as we all know by now, Elon Musk reached an agreement to buy Twitter for roughly $44 billion on Monday, promising a more lenient touch to policing content on the platform where he promotes his interests, attacks critics, and opines on social and economic issues to more than 83 million followers. The outspoken Tesla CEO, who is also the world's wealthiest person, has said that he wanted to buy and privatize Twitter because he believes that it's not living up to its potential as a platform for free speech. Musk said in a joint statement with Twitter that he wants to make the service better than ever with new features such as getting rid of automated spam bots and making its algorithms open for the public to increase trust. Free speech is also the bedrock of a functioning democracy, and Twitter is the digital town square where matters vital to the future of humanity are debated, he says. The deal was cemented roughly 2 weeks after the billionaire first revealed a 9% stake in the platform. Musk said last week that he had lined up $46.5 billion in financing to buy Twitter, putting pressure on the company's board to negotiate a deal. Twitter said the transaction was unanimously approved by its board of directors. The 11-member board includes Twitter co-founder and former CEO Jack Dorsey, who has been planning to step down from the board in May. Twitter said the deal was expected to close sometime this year and is subject to the approval of Twitter stockholders and regulators. Shares of Twitter Incorporated rose 6% Monday to $52 per share. On April 14th, Musk announced an offer to buy the social media platform for $54.20 per share. While the stock is up sharply since Musk made this offer, it is well below the high of $77 per share it reached in February 2021. Musk has described himself as a free speech absolutist, but is also known for blocking or disparaging other Twitter users who question or disagree with him. In recent weeks, he has voiced a number of proposed changes for the company, from relaxing its content restrictions, such as the rules that suspended former President Donald Trump's account, to ridding the platform of fake and automated accounts and shifting away from its advertising-based revenue model. Asked during a recent TED Talk if there are any limits to his notion of free speech, Musk said Twitter or any forum is obviously bound by the laws of the country that it operates in, so obviously there are some limitations on free speech in the US, and of course Twitter would have to abide by those rules. Beyond that, though, he said he'd be very reluctant to delete things and in general be cautious about permanent bans. It won't be perfect, Musk added, but I think we want it to have really the perception and reality that speech is as free as reasonably possible. Twitter had initially enacted an anti-takeover measure known as a poison pill that would make a takeover attempt prohibitively expensive, but the board decided to negotiate after Musk updated his proposal last week to show that he had secured financing, according to the Wall Street Journal. While Twitter's user base of more than 200 million remains much smaller than those of rivals such as Facebook and TikTok, the service is popular with celebrities, world leaders, journalists, and intellectuals. More after this on Arbitrage, State of the Bands Weekend, where you can find us at Arbitrage Trade.
Okay, so Sarah, I'm dropping you off at Emily's?
Yep.
And Josh, you're going to?
Soccer, Dad. Soccer practice.
Right. Oh, by the way, I just wanted to let you know when I pick you both up, I'll be wearing my short shorts.
What?
No!
Yep, and my dorky dad hat, and I'm gonna do my dad dance for all your friends. They'll love it!
Seriously? Why?
Because I like my short shorts. Of course, I could be talked out of it if you guys would just buckle up your seatbelts without giving me a hard time.
It's important to get your kids to buckle up for safety, no matter what it takes. And sometimes, all it takes is your parental powers of persuasion.
Okay, we're buckling up.
See, all buckled.
Good choice. I'll just have to do my dad dance at dinner time.
What?
No!
Do what you have to make sure your kids are wearing their seatbelts, even on short drives. Never give up until they buckle up. A message from the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council. Visit safercar.gov/kidsbuckleup for more information.
Royce, you planning on going to Disney this year?
I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Normally it's a thing. It's a spot.
Yeah.
But no, maybe not this year.
I gotta say this, as much as research that I've done, I'm kind of an amateur Disney historian. And
okay, all right. Explain that further.
I've wanted to go for a long time.
Okay.
My parents and I used to go all the time, and I haven't been in about 20, 30 years.
Wow. You sound like a classic Disney, or a Disney classic.
So
23 years? Isn't it 25 to be a classic?
I don't know, something like that, but
Goodness
knows.
have to put you in the Disney vault, sir.
Oh, no. Well, there's a lot of news surrounding the Walt Disney Company right now, and something called Reedy Creek Improvement District. This is an interesting thing.
It's like self-help district or something?
Not exact. Well, kind of, if you think about it. Reedy Creek Improvement District in Florida. Basically, there are improvement districts in every state in the United States, including several in Florida. Idea is that government has certain responsibilities and duties, such as providing fire protection, street lighting, garbage collection, water and sewer, and other services, right?
Yes.
But sometimes these areas have requirements that extend beyond those general responsibilities.
Whoops. Okay.
Well, Disney World is one of those areas, and the Reedy Creek Improvement District was established in 1967 by the Reedy Creek Improvement Act.
Okay.
And it's one of the reasons why Disney chose Florida to begin with, was the tax breaks and this improvement district that he could do.
Oh, you Reedy.
Yeah, so interestingly,
okay.
Walt bought all the land for Walt Disney World under shell companies, various shell companies and various individuals, and put it all together into Disney World.
Smart.
Yeah. Disney World opened in 1971 and fell under the jurisdiction of RCID. RCID is two towns, Bay Lake, or Buena Vista Lake as it's now known, and Reedy Creek. Two towns within Disney World. Now, this allows them to have certain leniencies. For example, construction permits. For example, they created their own telephone company. Did you know that?
I did not.
Yes, they did. Not only that, but they had leniencies in garbage collection, creating one of the world's first vacuum-assisted garbage collections in an area. Pretty cool.
So is this where Maybell came from?
I don't know, man.
I mean, that's the cow, right?
I don't know.
All right, continue. I'm sorry.
But we have problems.
Okay, what's the problem?
DeSantis kind of wants to squash Disney, and so he has proposed that the RCID be abolished. Now that means that Disney World will fall under the jurisdiction of two different counties, Osceola County and Orange County. There's 18,000 acres in Orange County, and Osceola County has 6,000 acres. And we'll talk more about this coming up, but it's trouble for Disney.
Oh, Mickey, what happened?
I don't know, but we'll see what happens, and we'll talk about this later on in the program. Coming up next, stick around.
Say it ain't so.
No word in the English language is less convincing than probably.
Are you sure we should get matching tattoos on our first date?
Sure. We'll probably stay together.
Probably? It's been 23 minutes since I ate. I can probably swim.
You should wait 30 minutes.
Okay, now tell me what to do. Cannonball! Cramp! Oh, I have a cramp.
I can probably hit the green from here.
Probably.
Can I get a mulligan?
Ready to go?
Hey, are you sure you're okay to drive?
Yeah, I'm pretty sober.
Yeah, I'm probably okay.
Probably okay isn't okay, especially when it comes to drinking and driving. If you're drinking, call a cab, a car, or a friend. Buzzed driving is drunk driving. A message brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Hey, it's Josh, and as part of your Market Watch today, we're going to be talking more about helium, its properties, and why it's so important, as well as the companies who may be taking advantage of that. So hang on tight, we're going to be talking about helium in 3 different sectors. The party sector, which is awesome, the medical sector, and fiber optics. No chipmunk voices here, we're talking helium on this edition of Market Recap. So this is the 3rd helium shortage in 36 years, but not all shortages are created equal. For example, pure liquid helium, also known as grade 5 helium, has been delivered to customers regardless of their purity requirements. However, balloon grade helium, CGA grade H helium, is only 97.5% pure. Helium providers, with the intent of being more green, have decided to reduce production costs by substituting 100% pure helium for balloon-grade helium, which does require far less effort to produce. This decision, however, has resulted in more companies that use helium products to also switch to the balloon-grade helium. So subsequently, and quite temporarily, this is creating a higher demand for balloon-grade helium, but it's also leaving existing balloon-grade helium customers with no other option than to learn to share or to find more efficient ways to use less. Additionally, healthcare providers, the primary users of grade 5 helium, have figured out a way to reduce their helium consumption requirements by almost 99% thanks to GE Healthcare and their new Freelium patents. For example, an average MRI machine uses about 2,000 liters of helium and must be replenished. Freelium is a closed-circuit system that uses 20 liters of helium and does not need to be replenished. That last fact alone should position GE to be very profitable in the near future. Magnetic resonance imaging is highly used in healthcare to create non-X-ray based and extremely clear pictures of the human body. This technique requires very large magnetic fields that shift the location of the actual cells in the body very slightly, and once the field is gone, the MRI machine measures movement as the cells travel back to their original location. The only viable source for this type of magnetic field requires a superconducting magnet whose average temperature has been stabilized to near 0 degrees Kelvin. This process is called cryostat. Fun fact, nitrogen is not a viable alternative because it's not cold enough. Nitrogen's lowest sitting temperature is 77 degrees Kelvin. The high-speed internet service everyone has grown to love would not be possible without helium. The fiber optic cables that carry internet and cable TV services have to be manufactured in a pure helium atmosphere in order to ensure air bubbles will not get trapped inside the cables. And because helium can diffuse quickly, helium is the gas of choice for effecting the near instantaneous deployment of airbags in cars. Computer hard drives, featuring dramatically improved storage capacity, are also reliant on helium. Helium-filled hard drives are starting to replace air-filled hard drives, primarily because they offer 50% higher storage capacity and require 23% less power when operating. One of the prevalent uses of helium comes in the production of semiconductor chips. Phones, TVs, computers, tablets. If a device contains a chip, it would not be possible without the helium used at different stages in the production process. Coming up on Arbitrage Trade's State of the Bands Weekend, we talk crypto with Royce and also windows of opportunity. Stick around.
Why was the basketball court all wet? Because the players kept dribbling on it.
The dad joke. Corny, groan-worthy, but also one of the simplest ways to share a moment with your kids.
What did the buffalo say when he dropped his son off for school? Bye, son.
So take a moment to make your kid laugh, because dad jokes rule. Make your kid laugh today. Go to fatherhood.gov. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
Adopt US Kids presents What to Expect When You're Expecting a Teenager. Learning the lingo.
Jelly. Jelly adjective. Jelly is a shorter, better way to say jealous, as in
Chloe, I am like so jelly of your unicorn phone case.
You don't have to speak teen to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same. Visit adoptuskids.org, brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
Royce, let's go to Florida and buy a theme park.
Okay, let's do it. I'm in.
Wells World is coming.
Yes. 2023. Look out.
So here's the deal, right? We were talking about Disney and the Reedy Creek Improvement Act and its possible repealing. What happens then? That's the question. And you may not care, but if you've ever taken your kids to Disney, if you've ever had that special Disney feeling, you might.
Yeah, definitely. It definitely changed the experience.
Well, like I said before, Disney has certain powers under the improvement district that really businesses don't have. And when it comes down to it, Disney is a country on its own.
They've negotiated themselves into that position, so yeah, they deserve it.
They absolutely did. They have legislative and regulatory flexibility that's allowed them to do, construction techniques and things that are amazing. New attractions and things that we don't see, like water control and environmental protection of the land that it's sitting on. Not only that, if they lost it, it would slow down the construction process because they would need to seek approval from the counties and follow certain regulations. They would no longer be a city, for one thing, so they would have to figure out which city they would fall in and follow that city's jurisdiction when it comes to that stuff.
I still think it's rather cool that basically you will never see two of the same character in the same part of the park at the exact same time.
And do you know why that is?
No, I have no idea.
It's because Disney World has a subterranean network of tunnels underneath it called utilidors.
Really?
It's how they take trash out, how they get construction materials in and out. You will never see anything that Disney does not want you to see because of that.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Because I remember seeing, I'm like, hey, what's Mickey doing over here? I thought we just saw him over there, and then we go back over there, and no Mickey. No Mickey. Couldn't find him. But we found Winnie the Pooh, so I guess that works.
That's kind of why I'm fascinated by this. I'm fascinated by the RCID. They have their own fire department. They have their own basic deal with the sheriff's department. Do you know that there is a jail cell underneath Disney World?
I could believe that. I mean, sometimes that mouse gets a little bit crazy or Goofy gets a little bit bonkers. And, bonkers. Yeah, never mind. That's another whole other story.
Yeah. Now, they do pay property taxes. It's one of the largest property taxpayer in Orange and Osceola counties. But there were definitely some tax breaks there that they're going to lose. And the thing is that some of that Disney magic may actually disappear because they have to regulate through other people instead of being self-regulating. It's kind of sad if you think about it.
Regulators mount up.
There we go. All right. Thank you so much for joining us on this Disney-fied edition of State of the Bands, and we absolutely, we still want to say that we love you.
MICKEY MOUS. See you later.
Arbitrage Trade Analytics, LLC, is a privately held market research company. Arbitrage Trade Analytics, LLC, is solely responsible for the preparation and distribution of the content of this podcast. The opinions offered in this podcast are for informational purposes only and are not intended to be investment advice. Seek a duly licensed professional for investment advice. For more information about the informational research and services offered by Arbitrage Trade Analytics, LLC, please visit arbitrage